the more effective APD is, the more effective we'll be able to be. And we're all in this together. We're members of the community, and we also work in the DA's office. So I think if the public has more confidence in the police department, we'll benefit from that.
Do you have any update on the case you're looking at in James Boyd, the 2 officers that may or may not be charged?
No, we received that. Gosh, I don't even know the date that we received that. We are reviewing that, and I'm personally reviewing that. And we anticipate maybe late winter, January, February, March, being able to tell you where we're going to be going with that. One of the problems that we have is that the case management order becomes effective on February 2nd, and we're kind of reorganizing and structuring and trying to deal with that because we could lose a lot of cases if we don't deal with that. It's basically dividing, the CMO is dividing the new cases and giving them to some judges, and then the old cases and giving them to 3 different judges. And so we're going to have attorneys and people working both the old and the new, and things are going to be very busy. And so that's our first priority, and then as soon as we get that down, then we'll probably proceed or let you all know how we're going to proceed on board.
Do you know how many officer-involved shooting cases your office is currently reviewing?
We keep a chart on all of those, and I don't have the exact number. You would know. I mean, they've been all reported in the media. Whatever shooting has occurred, we just got one out last Friday on Hernandez and is it Shane Todd? Shane Todd. And we just released that report on Friday. We have several that we expect to come out before Christmas that we hope. One of the problems is our protocol says that once we get all of the information, all the reports and the supplemental, then our goal is to get it out within 6 months. We've met that more often than not. In the last couple of months, we've been working with the jail overcrowding issue, with the new CMO, and so it's slowed things down.
Does the Boyd case get any priority or put to the top just with the?
No, it will get reviewed like the other cases. I guess it does have some priority in that I'm personally reviewing it to try to speed it up, but we're really working hard to do that on all of the cases. The issue is we have everything we need on Boyd. We don't have all of the reports on every other case.
What are some of the challenges that you face in state law of, you and I have talked about this before, and prosecuting any officer-involved shootings, the officers involved? Is there any state law that needs to be changed you would like to see?
Well, I think we need to be really careful with that. Right now, officers under the United States Supreme Court, and our Supreme Court adopted that in the Manchili case, that officers have broader discretion in using deadly force than you or I would in defending ourselves. And they justify that by saying that, number one, they're out on the street to protect us. They deal with things on a daily basis that you or I don't have to deal with. And that it's really easy to go back and second guess everything they did, but they don't have that benefit. They may have a millisecond to make a decision. And so we're not going to judge them harshly is essentially, what the law says. I would really want to be careful in undoing that. First of all, how do we undo a Supreme Court decision? And all of the laws that have happened, not just laws, but the cases that have been decided that way across the nation. If our police officers can't or aren't allowed to defend themselves, how is that going to impact us? So we need to really study it and be very deliberate in whatever approach that we take. But I think most people would say officers have the right to use, reasonable force when they are in fear of their lives or great bodily injury or protecting the third person. That's what they're out there to do, and we wouldn't want them to quit doing that.
What about the mental health of suspects? That's something that has been an issue here. Your office sees a lot of suspects dealing with mental illness. There's been a lot of criticism that we as a state are not providing. There's no Kansas law. Would you like to see any changes there?
Yes, I would like, first of all, I'd like to see funding. It's my understanding from research that we're number one in the number of mental health issues that we have in our state. Number one in the nation. We're number 50 in the amount of resources that are available to deal with those mental health issues. The Department of Corrections across the country are the #1 mental health provider in the nation, and in New Mexico, the Department of Corrections is #1 mental health care provider in the state. That's not the way it should be, and I think we're just digging ourselves a hole. We'd like to see more resources. We'd certainly like everyone to be sensitive to those issues. We're not saying that people aren't responsible for their behavior, but we need to do something, and it doesn't just start when they become adults and they get involved in the criminal justice system. It starts if they're 2 or 3 or 4, if their parents have mental health issues. We've got to start dealing with it in a more realistic way, or we're all going to pay the costs.
Would you like to see a Kinder's law, a law that?
I would have to be, it would be nice if we could do something like that would be constitutional. I don't know how that can be accomplished, and I haven't specifically studied that in and of itself. But I'd want to be real careful.
Sure. If the state constitution.
Yeah, right. And the United States Constitution as well.
Right.
We've got that to be concerned about.
But other states have, like 45 states have. We're
Right.
one of 5 states that don't have it.
Right. New Mexico is unique in a lot of ways, I think, and I think in a way it's nice, but we really put a high priority on personal rights. And that's good in a lot of ways, and that could be not so good in other ways. I don't ever support a knee-jerk reaction to a specific instance, and therefore one situation happens and we need to change all the laws. I don't think we get good laws that way. We need to look at the big picture, look at the history, make sure that we're going where we want to go. Okay.
Are there any cases you might have thought of that where a child was negatively affected and kid's waiting center would have helped?
Well, that would be hard to prove. I would say common sense would tell us that, you mean our waiting rooms and stuff,
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
help? I think research shows that the more comfortable kids are, the more the more they feel that they've been accommodated, the less stress it is for them. So, I mean, it's just kind of common sense. I know that for parents it helps too when kids are occupied. If a parent comes in and they're really concerned or upset about having to give a pretrial interview and their kids are happy and coloring or playing in that area, I think that it makes them less stressful. There was a little girl in that area, and she was, right after we got it, and she was holding her baby, and I went over and I was talking to her about her baby, and she was saying, shh, she's sleeping, and it was a little doll that we had in the area, and she didn't have a doll at home. So whenever she came into the office, that was her baby, and she was very protective of it, and it was just kind of nice to see that at least she had that. I wish, wouldn't that be great if we could just provide toys to children when they leave, they could take home whatever that they really enjoyed. We can't do that, but it's kind of fun. So I think that if you sat and watched some of the kids, and I don't know if we have any kids today, but you would think it was helpful.
This is just, I just got this, and it's probably not relevant to you. There was a shooting in Florida today, and apparently the suspect worked for a DA's office. Do you know a guy named Marion May? Did that person?
No.
Okay.
Thank heavens.
We just wanted to check. Okay.
He does not work in this office, I can assure you.
Okay.